Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, hello, welcome, my name is Charlotte. Today, as by the title, I'm going to be doing a unhaul. I haven't done an unhaul since, or on my channel at least, since before Christmas, because that's kind of usually the time that we all do them. I'm doing one now just because I've got quite a few books that I've just gradually unhauled and I thought it's enough, a good amount to then do a video about it, and it just means I can push them away, don't have to think about them. I don't actually have the ability to actually get rid of them properly. I usually just give them to a charity shop, but obviously as all the charity shops are closed, can't really do that. I have about 11 books here that I'm going to talk about. There are some that are part of a series, so I'll just talk about those together. I'm not going to probably go into detail about them because I'm here to talk about why I don't want them. So I think without further ado, we should just dive straight in. So the first book that I'm unhauling is the only one on this list that I haven't read, and it's just been on my TBR for a long time now, and I just don't think I'm going to get around to reading it. I think it's like the oldest book on my TBR and I just don't see it happening. There is a movie for it and I just might watch the movie. I think I was putting off watching the movie before I read the book, and also it's like a small mass market paperback. I know it's like a picky thing to be annoyed at, but it's kind of annoying. So that's another reason why I want to get rid of it, and that book is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I know a lot of people love this book and I know it is a very well known, very loved book, but I have had it for too long and I just don't think I'm ever going to get around to reading it. Like, I just have no motivation, nothing in my mind's going, yes, let's read that book. I will just watch the film. I think this book's about a girl who dies and then she's like figuring out how she died. I don't know. I actually don't know, but I think I know it's about a girl who dies. Was Saoirse Ronan in the film, or am I making that up? I think she was, but I might be making that up. As you can see, it's like a small kind of mass market paperback, and it's just stuff, books like this, like unless it's in a series, a bit annoying. I just have no motivation to read this. I got this from a charity shop anyway, so it's not like I spent loads of money on it, so it'll just be kind of going back into the charity shop cycle. Maybe if I watch the film and I like it, I might, but for now, nah. The next book is a recent read, and if you watched my April wrap up, you will probably know what this one is. I read it for my owls and I gave it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars, and I just don't care and I don't like it and I don't want it, and that is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. I just didn't get on with this book. I know a lot of people do love it, but I didn't, because it's a high fantasy sci-fi novella. I didn't really have enough time to get used to the world, and I need, especially with sci-fi and fantasy, I need my time. I need to like get accustomed, and when like in 90 pages I'm already having to be thrust in and having to understand what's going on, I'm like, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. So I didn't really enjoy it, and even though I read it in one sitting, I don't care. I'm definitely not going to continue with the series if I don't like the first book, obviously. The next book I've had for a very, very long time, and I've always debated whether I keep it or I get rid of it, but because it's a kid's book that I just don't see myself revisiting, I kind of need to tell myself, no, get rid of it. But the main reason why I didn't want to get rid of it is because it's signed and because it's got some memories behind it. I don't really remember reading this book, and I've had it for too long, and the only reason I've had it is because it's signed. It is personalised signed, which is kind of frustrating, but it's a kid's book and I just genuinely do not see myself revisiting this. I've just had it for the memories and for because it's signed, and that is Goggle Eyes by Anne Fine. I don't even know what this book is about. I think it might be about this girl and her mum gets a new boyfriend and she doesn't like him, something like that. But Anne Fine wrote loads of other kids' books. She wrote Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello! And I remember we went to an event when I was in like year 5, so I must have been like 9 or 8 or something. She was doing signings for her book, and Maybe I Could Talk. I really wanted to get Mrs. Doubtfire because that was the only book of hers that I actually knew, but I didn't have enough money. So I had to settle for this. But I still got it signed, and it just says, "For Charlotte with love, Anne Fine." I've kept it for so long, but I'm just not going to revisit it, and the only reason I've been keeping it is because it's signed and it's got the memories behind it. I only really have vague memories of this event. I'm finally biting the bullet. I'm gonna get rid of it because I just don't need it. I just don't need it. The next book on this list, unfortunately, is the only book that I actually really enjoyed and actually ended up giving a 5 stars. So you're probably thinking, Charlotte, why are you getting rid of it? This is If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. The main reason why I'm getting rid of this is because I've seen and heard controversy about the author on Twitter and online, and I just don't feel comfortable having it. Because I now know this controversy and all this stuff, I don't really see myself reading from this author in the future, even though there was a book that they wrote that I was like really excited and really wanting to read, but I've now just gone, I'm just not. I really did enjoy this book, because this book's about a trans girl who starts a new school and it's all about her trying to fit in and trying to just kind of start afresh. The author is a trans woman themselves, but I just, because of what I heard, I'm just a bit like, no. and I don't really want to keep it, even though it was a good book. As I'm going to be sending it to a charity shop, hopefully somebody gets it and kind of gets something out of it, but I'm just going to get rid of it just because I think I'll feel a lot better. The next book was one I read a couple of years ago, I think, and I started it and I really was enjoying it. As I kind of got through it, I started to get a little bit bored by it and was a bit like, oh my god, when is this going to end, sort of thing. It is a book written in verse, and I think at first I was like, this is weird, but then I got used to it, and then after a while I was like, I don't think I'm going to be feeling this book, and I have kept it for a little bit, but I'm definitely going to get rid of it just because I don't see myself ever finishing it, and that is Burned by Ellen Hopkins. This I think is about a girl who's like raised in a very religious but like abusive family, and then one day goes and gets to live with her aunt and stuff happens and it's all weird, and I don't know. I don't really remember. I didn't even finish it. I just don't need it anymore. I really don't need it anymore. I do love how floppy it is. It's like super floppy. I think I did like kind of cheat, and obviously I didn't finish it, but I did look up like what happened, and I was like, ooh, that could be interesting to read, but I must have been not even like maybe halfway through, or I can't really remember, and I was just like, I just can't be bothered. She's leaving. She's going because I DNF'd it, and I don't need it anymore. The next two books are the second and third book in a series, and I read the first book in the series and I enjoyed it, I liked it, it was good, and I'm keeping that one just because maybe I will want to revisit the series, but also just because memories, and also because it's a very popular book or book series on BookTube. I did read the second one and enjoyed it. It was alright, it was good, but I think the downfall was that I left it too long between reading the second and the third book, that when I started reading the third book I was like, don't really remember what's happening, don't really care, I'm DNFing, and I kind of have forgotten a lot about the second book, so I don't really care about it, and I think the best thing for me is just to get rid of them, and that is Glass Sword and King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard. This is the second and the third book in the Red Queen series. I couldn't tell you what really happened in this book. I feel like I remember the end, but not really. This one, obviously I only read like 50 pages and was like, nah. Like I can remember what happened in the first one, but these two, especially this one, I actually fully read this one. I know some people love this series, I know some people don't, and I'm just kind of in the middle. Like I enjoyed it even though I didn't finish it, but I don't know, I liked the first book, but these two I don't really care about. The next three follows in the same vein as the previous two. These are three books from a very popular YA series. I read the first book, enjoyed it. I read the second book, which is in this haul, enjoyed it, but once again can barely remember what happened. It's like something I can remember the first book's a series, but when it comes to the second one I'm like, and then there's a novella bind-up, which I don't think I finished and I can barely remember. And then the third book, didn't finish and can't remember. It's a very popular YA book series that you either love or you hate, or you don't care about. I think I'm in that section where it's like, I don't really care. Don't really want to read this series or continue reading the series. Definitely something I could miss out on. And that is Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, and Assassin's Blade. All by Sarah J Maas from the Throne of Glass series. Keeping Throne of Glass because I feel like I did enjoy that one, and maybe I would want to reread it just for the memes and probably not continue on with the series. It's kind of like the same with Red Queen, but these I just don't care about. I read this one and don't really remember what happened. Like I thought before I did, but I don't. This one I got like maybe halfway through or not even that, and was just like, I don't like this. I know this one puts a lot of people into slumps, and a lot of people don't like the direction it goes because it introduces new characters and it does feel a bit different. For me it was just like, I can't do this. Can't do this, no thanks. I think I read this before Heir of Fire, then I just didn't really finish many of the stories or like any of it really. I think I might have got like halfway through it. This series is beloved, so that was the reason why I read it. And I don't really care that I haven't read it because there are some people who have never read it, there are some people who have read it and loved it, and there are some people in the same situation as me who just have read it but didn't finish it and don't care. Goodbye Throne of Glass, or part of the Throne of Glass series. I tried, but it just didn't work. And the final book that is in this unhaul is one that I've had for quite a few years now, and it's an autobiography. I have other autobiographies, but I'm going to keep in those ones because those people I still really love and I still have loads of memories attached to those books. But this one, I like this person, it's a singer, I like this artist, but I just don't care enough to keep this book, and that is Ed Sheeran's autobiography, A Visual Journey. So it's less words and more just like photos because it's a visual journey. It's just mainly like a lot of photos. I read this probably back at like end of 2014. I probably got this for Christmas or something. I remember opening it and being like, look brother, it's you, because my brother looks like Ed Sheeran. I don't care because I'm definitely not going to go revisit it, whereas the other ones I've got, which are like One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer and Tom Daley and Conor Maynard, I feel like I'm gonna want to revisit those at some point in my life. I love Ed Sheeran, he's great, like he does some bangers. I don't care enough to keep it, but this will go to a charity shop and I bet you someone will get a lot of love and a lot of like greatness out of this. Someone who really loves Ed Sheeran. I like Ed Sheeran, but not enough to keep this when I read it like 5 years ago. So that is it for this unhaul. I feel like I didn't talk a lot about the books, but what do you expect? I don't like them, I don't want them, so what do you expect? Let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books, and if they're your favourites, I apologise. Or if you share the same opinions as me and are like, yep, these books are trash. If you enjoyed this video and you are new around here, do not forget to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, all that stuff. All my social media links are in the description below. With that all said and done, I will see you all in my next video.